Slovenia arrive off the back of what has been a positive run of games in 2025. Just one loss in the calendar year so far. That one a little earlier in June when they fell short to the Republic of Ireland 1-0. But prior to that, unbeaten for the start of 2025. But they know the challenge they face in the Australian side on home soil. And tonight we expect to present exactly that. A number of returning players to this Matildas squad, a big squad, 33 players originally named across this friendly window. 2 games against Slovenia, the first of those tonight, followed by 2 games against Panama. It's a big few weeks for the Matildas. And a big opportunity as these two sides face each other for the first time in their history. Let's pause for a moment for the Australian and Slovenian national anthems.
We now ask those who are able to remain standing for the national anthem of Australia. So for the Matildas tonight, a new coach at the helm, Joe Montemuro, for his first game in charge. He'll be looking to become just the 4th manager in the last 30 years to win their first A international in the seat. He's reflected on a positive week for his first in camp with the group. A lot of new faces in the side, acknowledging the importance of game time, instilling new language, new players, and what is the start of the build-up for the Asian Cup in Australia next year. 9 months, 250 odd days away, and an important trophy on the line. A different look squad too, 14 domestic players from the A-League in Australia make up a contingent of the original 33 named. Prashnica important for Slovenia tonight. Goal scoring machine. And she'll be slowed down to hoping Ellie Carpenter, if she has anything to say about that. Well, let's have a look at how the Matildas will take to the field tonight as Joe Montemuro names his first starting 11 in charge. 8 changes from the last time the Matildas took the field. The 3 holding down their spot from that last international window are Tegan Micah, Emily Van Egmond and Amy Sayer. Ellie Carpenter returns to the back four with Kennedy and Hunt bolstering the middle of defence. Jamila Rankin on the left-hand side. Winnie Heatley and Alex Chidiac join Van Egmond in the midfield. What looks to be a top 3 of Holly McNamara, Emily Gilnick and Amy Sayer round out the attack. As for Slovenia, well, Sasha Coleman, the coach, names an unchanged side from the team that lost to the Republic of Ireland at the start of June. Keep an eye on number 11, Lara Prashnika, and number 20, Zara Krumja, the attacking duo that have scored the host of the goals for the Slovenian national team. Sasha Coleman, the 41-year-old former defender himself, has been in the role since 2023 and has enjoyed a pretty successful 2025 so far. Just the 1 loss of the 6 games played in this calendar year. And in the opposite dugout for the first time is Joe Montemuro. Continental success in Australia, England, Italy and France. Permanent successor after the departure of Tony Gustafsson, and a 13-game interim period with Tommy Simani. Very warm welcome to Joe Montemuro in his reign as the Matildas head coach. Kaja Korosec, Slovenian midfielder and captain for tonight. Dominika Čonč looking to play an important part. It will be Slovenia who get the kick-off in their white strips. As all in readiness for this first game of the 2 against Slovenia at HBF Park. And Joe Montemuro used the word demanding high standards, demanding the team hold on to the ball. But we're underway in Perth, a beautiful evening in perfect conditions. It's Slovenia who get us moving and look to stream forward. An early defensive duties called into action for Amy Sayer, who can pick a pass to Van Egmond and relieve some immediate pressure. And Andy Harper, it's great to be alongside you yet again.
Back-to-back internationals. How lucky am I, Grace? Good to see you. Great to be back in Perth. Great to see the Matildas take the field again. And very excited to see what is about to unfold in the Joe Montemuro era. Much awaited, a lot of speculation about will he, won't he, is he the man? Football Australia zeroed in on him and they had to be patient, but they've landed Joe Montemuro for the next phase, leading in particularly, Grace, to the Asian Cup on home soil next year.
Pinching back all the way to the feet of Tegan Micah, who has held her spot in between the sticks, and deservedly so, her 7th consecutive start tonight for Micah. As Holly McNamara can pinch the ball and release Van Egmond. Finds wide to Sayer. Her early pass looks good as well, and it's almost steered into the back of the net by Sara Agrej, and that would have been a horror start for Slovenia.
Well, a bit busy start, conversely, for Amy Sayer. You called it other end of the field, and she put in a shift to break up a Slovenia attack, the first of the game. And then a tantalising ball to the far post. And Gilnick was there to finish, but for the late intervention.
Well, Van Egmond to take. And set pieces, a real strength of the Matilda side in recent internationals. Van Egmond's corner finds near and scatters through to the far post and almost scuffed in by Sayer, and it is bundled through to the back of the net. And in fact, Emily Gilnick returning in green and gold. And how dearly she would love to find one. She's done exactly that. It is a dream start for the Matildas in Perth. Welcome back to the Matildas, Emily Gilnick.
Well, a little inquiry made by Slovenia defenders. Some perceived injustice in defence there, but really they've got nothing about which to complain. Out-muscled, out-anticipated by the Matildas, and Gilnick hacking the ball away, not once but twice, and the second time getting the Joe Montemurro off to a very, very positive goal-scoring start. And her return to the national team didn't take long to bear fruit.
Well, it's a goal that holds a lot of weight for Emily Gilnick, a player who has been in and out of the national team for years, hasn't been able to solidify her spot, at least not under interim coach Tommy Samani, not under former coach Tony Gustafsson, but perhaps an opportunity under the reign of Joe Montemurro, and no better start for Gilnick to bundle that one, poke that one through to the back of the net. Becomes so much more than just a regular game for players like Emily Gilnick. When selection is on the line, proving yourself is on the line. Now a bit of pressure coming through from Slovenia's Jadila Rankin has been put to the test. Heatley breaks up play and releases through Chidiak. Here's Kennedy. And Carpenter returning to the national team after a spell of some personal leave and a wedding to boot. Lovely to see Ellie Carpenter back in the national side. Here's Korosec. Searching ball over top, nodded away by Kennedy. Now Prashnika. And Chonch all the way back through Golo.
Well, despite the early concession from Slovenia, they've rebalanced. They're very composed in possession. It'll be a good test on the early evidence for Australia defensively. It is a team, a national team, that is rising with the tide of football, women's football in Europe, is Slovenia. A difficult start to their international experiences in the mid-90s. So difficult was their first qualification attempts. So many goals did they hemorrhage that they actually put the queue in the rack for a while. But Slovenia is one of the world's great sporting nations per capita across a range of sports, and football is high on the country's priorities, and the Slovenian women will be climbing the rankings over time. There's no doubt about that.
Matildas with some defending to do. Korosec's corner is neatly tucked in on a nice left-footed delivery, and Tegan Micah is out to interrupt.
It was a beautiful delivery, Tegan Micah. Just scrambling a little, but clearly seeing the danger away ultimately.
Again, another one to defend. This time a little higher, a little longer. Again, another punch just scuffs off the hand of Micah. Sees that out for a third consecutive corner.
Not great contact from Tegan, but she actually moved through the 6-yard box with great conviction.
Delivery into a dangerous, congested area. Still alive for Slovenia. Nodded away, this time by Claire Hunt. Prashnika re-enters, and it's Hunt's head. It dispels a little pressure as the Matildas look to regain some shape and step forward off the back of those three corners. Nervy moments. Chonch happy to get her foot on the ball and settle things down. Almost forming a back three, Slovenia. So happy to play, happy to get numbers forward. And that pass has gone awry. Here's Kramžar, prolific goal scorer herself for Slovenia. Matildas once more have been able to break out play just. The pressure coming in.
Yeah, just more confirmation that Slovenia have rebalanced nicely after the goal they conceded. They've been the dominant team since. Good test for the Matildas early on.
Good composure shown on the ball by Gilnick just to keep possession alive. Micah has pressure streaming through from Stenan. It's a cleverly picked pass by Hunt. Carpenter shows a little too much of the ball to Eugen, and Slovenia are able to regain possession. Only for half a moment. Tight spaces and congested areas, and the exact type of environment that Alex Chidiac can thrive in. More chance to go forward here. Sayer on the left-hand side, glances up. A little knowing pass, looks for the jink. Now Chidiac inside, McNamara searching for the first goal in green and gold. Hands in the air, the ball from Sayer is a little too direct. Zala Mershnik in goal.
A very, very positive start generally from Amy Sayer, but I think she rushed that one a little bit. She was nicely found. Good space, but just rushed the delivery. Might have crafted something a little more meaningful there.
Rankin anticipates well, but unable to connect that pass. Likewise, Slovenia. There's Rankin again. Happy to concede a little territory and just take the pressure off. Fairly frantic opening 10 minutes. Goal aside. One ball over the top is trying to find the run of Emily Gilnick. Micah, her 7th consecutive start in goal. She's available for the entire series, both the Slovenia games and the Panama games, Tegan Micah. And it's her spot really to hold on to, her spot to lose, but she's done everything right so far. Slovenia trying to find a way forward, but the pass just over the sideline gives Australia a throw-in. Bundled off the ball is Winnie Heatley, an opportunity to drive into the box, and the right foot of Zara Kramžar, who scored in nearly every single game in recent internationals, has just bundled good physicality off the ball, and the Matildas looking for a way out. Well, it fell kindly to Chidiac, but McNamara was deemed to have been fouled off the ball.
Might have been a decent opportunity for an advantage to be played there. Ball bounced favourably for the Matildas with a good attacking option, but the press has been pretty intense from Slovenia to start with. Australia rattled. And technique just letting players down at crucial moments, and it's forced to change over again here.
Searching pass over the top, looking for Maya Sternade. It's a good run. And Claire Hunt had to be alert to the danger. It's another corner, the 4th for Slovenia. And those first 3, well, they looked a little nervy for the Matildas' defence.
And again, the turnover there Very nice work from Claire Hunt. That's exactly the type of focus and athleticism you need to see from the centre halves, or one of them, in this case Claire Hunt. Excellent recovery work.
Kaya Korosic, again, the corner taker, plays a football at Paris FC, a teammate of Sarah Hunter, known to the Matildas setup, but for now another corner to defend. Claire Hunt's head again allays the danger. Carpenter gives chase, but it's still alive for Slovenia. Ball in over the top is to a dangerous area. Sayer can nod forward. Van Egmond inside to Chidiac, looking for a release pass. Heatley runs into danger and skips just past. Heatley again under pressure, gives the ball away. Kramjar has the eyes up, looking for the ball. It's a little wide and it's asking a bit much on that occasion of Maya Sternad.
The turnovers are cheap and they're expensive for Australia. That's an excellent opportunity. And Sternad just losing her balance. Not confident at all there on that strike for goal. It was a great opening. Winnie Heatley was dispossessed, and partly, Grace, I'll suggest it was, and it's been one or two times, Winnie Heatley's control has not been tight enough, but a key part of that problem is some of the passes she's been asked to protect have been big asks. They're putting a lot of their teammates under pressure with the passing options in these early moments, the Matildas. Heatley's got herself out of that one, but again, it was on a knife's edge for a second.
She's done well on that occasion, as has Carpenter. Chidiac's pass is a little skinny and Rankin is second to the ball. A chance for Slovenia as they stream forward. Numbers to the far post if the ball can be found. Nicks off the underside of the crossbar, and perhaps the Matildas get away with one on that occasion. Ellie Carpenter deep in her own defensive half, just trying to find a way out. Well, Neve Owens is keeping an eye on things at pitch side for us tonight. Nevo, how's it looking down there?
Look, it's gorgeous conditions for a game of football, GG. It's about 11 degrees. The pitch is in mint condition, enough to have even yourself considering a comeback a little bit earlier in the afternoon. Joe Montemuro's been really clear this week about wanting to create a culture of standards with this in this team, looking at the tempo, looking at the intensity of play, and he's been most vocal on the sideline so far when the Matildas haven't had the ball, really looking for them to set in defence as he tries to enact some of those changes.
Thank you, Neve. Possession stats suggest that the Matildas do have the lion's share of possession, but there have been some, fair to say, scrappy moments and passes, just like that one, not quite meeting the mark. As for final third entries, well, it's Slovenia who are enjoying a little bit more success in the final third. Slovenia looking for a way forward. Not a bad idea, but the final pass just lacking a little quality, so Heatley can tidy up. Carpenter and Van Egmond runs into danger. Prashnikar can drive at the Matildas' defence. Releases Ergen. The far post ball just glances off the head of Rankin, and the second time of asking the shot coming through, ricochets off. Sayer striding into space, has McNamara to her left. If she can find the pass, delivers it sweetly. Holly McNamara looking for her first goal in green and gold. Lays off the pass to Amy Sayer, and that one was always rising.
Well, that was a superb lead up from Amy Sayer. If you clip that up, this is what Amy Sayer brings to the team, and there's so much excitement around it, just the power through midfield. This is the tail end of it. And there was a question at the moment of reception there for Holly McNamara. What was the mentality? Am I going to grasp this opportunity and make a chance for myself, or pass off the responsibility? And she's chosen the latter. Amy Sayer wasn't up to finishing the move she started.
maybe another chance. Not too far away. Gilnick, her ball in. Stings the palms of Zala Mershnik. Needed to draw the cross away from the Slovenian goalkeeper. Mershnik, the goalkeeper, plays her football in Saudi Arabia. The only player of the Slovenian national team to do so. Was awarded the Golden Glove at the end of the most recent season as well. So comes into this series with good form of her own. Holly McNamara, 10th appearance tonight for the Matildas. Hasn't been able to break the duck just yet. Her fantastic form in the A-League in Australia. The expectations are high. Now chances at the other end, and that's not a bad ball from Slovenia. Lovely touch back in from Kramjo. She touches onto her left. The shot's blocked. Now Chonch. She gets the shot away. Tegan Micah had a couple of hurried steps retreating to receive that one.
Well, that last move from Slovenia fits the game's pattern so far. Australia not tight enough in possession this time. Chidiac is showing too much of it. Lovely ball over the top, which in the end Claire Hunt had to defuse again. Claire Hunt's been prominent defensively for Australia and has needed to be so.
Just a little scrap between Sarah Agresh and Emily Gilnick on this near touchline. It's been a fairly transitional opening 20 minutes. It's the Matildas with the lead thanks to a Gilnick goal in the 3rd minute. And that, for Emily Gilnick, definitely would have relieved the pressure valve. But since then, it's been a fairly scrappy affair. Not entirely convincing from either side. Ball over the top, stretching the legs of Ergen. Carpenter with work to do. Kaya Ergen into the back of Ellie Carpenter. That'll be a Matilda's free kick.
Yeah, Kaya Ergen, great story. She was a goal scorer as a youngster and transitioned to a fullback on a move to Italy. But in a foot race with a bit of speed and time to wind up, Ellie Carpenter's not going to be beaten from there. Ergen was always going to be second best, but when he gets to the football part of the discussion, she's a very, very handy customer.
So Holly McNamara leading the line for the Matildas. The lone striker really dictating which way she's asking Slovenia to go. Agrej on the ball. Nice touch from Prashnika, and the little give and go is a bit heavy. Quick pass out from Micah is clever. The pressure still high coming through from Slovenia. And Micah not wanting to hold on to the ball too long at the back. Carpenter again under pressure. Finds Heatley. Needs a bit of support, Winnie Heatley. Matilda's just trying to find a way out of what is a fairly high press coming through from Slovenia. Square pass. Kennedy is first to it. Carpenter almost finds Van Egmond, but McNamara has the speed to reach it first. Here's Gilnick, has options ahead. McNamara in front and Sayer to the far post, which is a lovely ball. Amy Sayer, the touch, the strike, was clever to get away quickly. Didn't quite have the dip, but she appreciated that one.
Well, she's the player of the moment for Australia, and Emily Gilnick needs it. She didn't need the tip. As soon as I'm set, I've seen the space that's available, and I'm going to see if I can drop it into the advantage zone for Amy Sayer, which she did. Great work from Emily Gilnick. Good position from Amy Sayer. But I've got to say, right at the start of that possession sequence, there was an opportunity. One or two passes into that sequence. I think it was Emily Van Egmond who could have dropped the ball over the top for Saya. I wouldn't be hesitating if I was the Matildas.
Especially not given her recent goal-scoring form, but for now, defensive duties enacted, and that's a little bit of a clumsy challenge coming through from Rankin.
Yeah, she was just beaten slightly in that 1v1 situation, Jamila Rankin. And clearly having committed herself. The foul on Kerbal committed. You'd expect Kadasec to be there or thereabouts for the taking of this free kick. We've seen enough already in the opening 20 minutes how precise that left foot delivery is.
Well, the obvious set-piece taker is the 23-year-old. 60th appearance tonight for Kaya Korosets. Looks short, finds the boot of Prashnika, but it's blocked well, and Holly McNamara, well, this is where she can turn on the afterburners. Has space in front, cuts back, releases Carpenter inside. A well-weighted ball. Carpenter rounds the goalkeeper, finds Gilnick, but has taken one too many touches. Well, that was a prime opportunity for the Matildas, and don't they just know it?
Great burst. That was Holly McNamara's comfort zone. And a beautiful little ball through for Ellie Carpenter, who probably should have finished this herself. But look at the power of Carpenter. Around the keeper and shoot. That is a good recovery.
Well, the first goal came from a corner. What can this set piece do? Chidiac lobs through to the far post, and it's not too far away had the goalkeeper thinking about it.
Just on the rebound, on the reflex, Alex Chidiac asking a question.
The combination, the speed of Holly McNamara combining with Ellie Carpenter. Well, the stadium just lifted at that moment. Nice ball inside, finds Markovets. Kennedy does well to block. Well, shouts to keep the ball from Joe Montemuro on the sideline. But that won't just do it. The pass a little short to Kennedy. Kramjo is inside, looking for it from her teammate. Matilda's on their heels for just a moment. Another corner.
Well, apart from some breakaway chances, and the Matildas have generally been second best, but they've still had some great sights at the Slovenia goal. Lead the match, but they've been under enormous pressure through the midfield. The retention of the ball hasn't been good enough. They've had to defend strongly from these set pieces, so they've shown some good mettle in that facet of the game.
Another one being tested. Prashnika inside. Markovets, and her short delivery is steered clear by Kennedy, who's looking to rearrange her defensive line. The ball swept in, drops to the top of the 18-yard box to an open Prashnika at the far post, and it's Hunt rather, who's called into action. And a ricochet, a deflection. Well, Hunt's been busy in this opening 25 minutes or so.
Well, that might be somewhere up to 8 clearances from Claire Hunt so far. It might be a little bloated, that figure, but she's been bouncing the ball out of the danger zone for the Matildas with regularity.
Well, she might be called into action yet again here. Slovenia goes short once more. The delivery comes through and it's cleared well. So 25 or so minutes have passed. Still just the one goal for the Matildas, but not an entirely convincing opening passage. Some nervy touches, perhaps. Passes not quite hitting the target where they need to be. Plenty of room for improvement at this stage. Inside, the pass is helped through. And neatly done by Heatley. Micah's clearance is a little short and nodded back in by Coruscant. Gilnick coming deep to defend. Rankin. Back to Hunt. Van Egmond can turn and face forward. Chidiac now. Sayer's run is alive. Just timed that well. The pass from Chidiac is good. Release ball from Sayer is met first by Lana Golob, an experienced defender. That was a bright moment from the Matildas. Searching ball forward. As those final third entry stats continue to climb in the favour of the visiting side in Slovenia. And certainly the last few minutes have been largely spent in the Slovenian attacking half, the Matildas' defensive half. Well, 33 players picked in this Joe Montemuro squad. Of those 33, 14 from the A-League in Australia, the domestic competition. 7 of those players only available for the Slovenia game, 6 available for Panama, and the remaining available across both. Here's Van Egmond. He checks the shoulder. Has Rankin and Sayer stretches the field wide. Has McNamara and Gilnick in the box. Tries to get past one. Can't do so, and in the process brings her opponent to ground.
That's a disappointing end. Moments like that, it just looks as though a player hasn't quite got an idea on, at that moment, on how they're going to win the 1v1 situation. She's had a very, very good first half otherwise. Amy Sayer. And Australia have shown clearly in the 30 minutes so far that when they're of a mind to play forward through midfield and in receiving the ball, get themselves into a position so that they can play forward on the first touch, then they can work through the Slovenia press and do it really effectively.
Holly McNamara's brought to ground in a pretty painful one through the back of the right leg there. Just an awkward one, collapsing that standing leg.
Given her run of injuries, it's a little bit of a laboured walk away from the scene of the incident. Her a bit of slack at what might be going through her mind at the moment.
Well, options over the ball in both Van Egmond and to her left, Rankin. Van Egmond in the end dinked ball into the back post, and the goalkeeper gets a clear look, comfortable save. And surely not the outcome the Matildas were looking for. Not too much venom about that set piece. Mershnik. Now
out to Alvarez, and Carpenter is pressed high. Pressure on Kaya Urgent. McNamara back to goal. Golob is able to win out in that challenge, and Heatley's done well. The referee, Tarika Delai, says there was a little too much contact. Those moments for Holly McNamara, so important. Back to goal. Retaining possession for her side when she's under immense pressure. Find a way through is Slovenia. And Hunt again is alert to the danger. First to the ball. Wins possession back for her side. Now Van Egmond. Just a little over the half an hour mark, and either side has really taken flight in this game. The security blanket of Emily Gilnick's third-minute goal. Definitely a nice to have, but it hasn't been convincing.
No, there's been definitely a settling in period for the girls under the new boss. Just trying to calibrate what's required and when, and how that matches up with the new language of the team. Each coach that comes in has their own way of describing things and communicating things and key messages. But Slovenia have worked really hard. Their press has been aggressive. But Australia's played into that press and invited more of the press by the midfield touching the ball rather conservatively. And more pressure then builds. Pressure on the ball receiver, very tight. And Australia seemed now to have ridden that storm, and
They're a team, Slovenia ranked 38th in the world. Recently finished top of the group in the UEFA Women's Nations League. Had a lot of success there as that little glancing header invites Holly McNamara to stride into space. When she looks most comfortable, and Hunt again is first to steer away danger at the back as Kennedy. Van Egmond obliges to the calls of Joe Montemuro on the sideline to keep the ball. And a free kick going the way of Slovenia again. Emily Gilnick deemed to have held on to her opposing defender in Sarah Alvarez. It's a new reign under Joe Montemuro. 248 days until the Asia Cup in Australia 2026. What ended up being is a 13-game interim period under Tommy Samani. Of those 13 games, 7 wins, a draw and 5 losses. The most recent of those, of course, was the Matildas defeating Argentina in Canberra. 2 goals to Amy Sayer that day, who's been in spectacular form since returning from her ACL injury. Krashnika putting the Matildas' defence to test. Awkward at the back, not dealt with. Heatley happy to put a boot through that and steer it away, just to relieve the pressure.
just led the game well. Four turnovers in possession early in the game. She's held a nerve. She's winning a lot of those defensive goals now.
As only Slovenian defence
midfielders on the ball. You can hear the shouts from the sideline to keep the ball. The instruction is clear. The demand is there. Rankin, Hurley. Yes, again, contested on a few occasions in Slovenia's defensive line. Has done really well.
Made it very difficult for Australia, but still the Aussies have had those moments.
And perhaps a chance late in this first.
The shooting situation, this is the latest in the line. Spello Corbel not up to it on that occasion. Great space afforded her. Sternad, we've spoken about her lively performance, but on one or two occasions when the moment has been there to really do something for your team, the techniques let her down.
And there is a half-time whistle at the end of what you'd call a transitional first half that draws to a close. A back and forth game. It was Gilnick who opened the scoring in the 3rd minute. A really important finish for her back in the Matildas green and gold. And the first of many Joe Montemurro halftime talks will await in the change rooms. An interesting one at that. So with Slovenia having it all to do, but plenty to show in this first stanza. It's Australia 1, Slovenia 0. Don't go anywhere. The halftime show is just on the other side.
All right, Combat Matildas fans, it's time to show your homemade posters as part of a new initiative. Tonight, we are choosing one special winner who will get the chance to meet a Combat Matildas player. Following the final whistle of today's game, the judges are about to head around and round. So now's the time to hold your posters high. Give a big cheer to our Coles Mini Roos halftime heroes from local Coles Mini Roos clubs. reference to national team players who start or take part as a substitute in a match between two senior national teams. To present the case this evening, we welcome Board Director of Football Australia, Katrina Donoghue. First player we'd like to honour is Barbara Kozak, who made her non-A international debut in Australia on Monday, October 16, 1978 against Sweden in the Women's World Invitation Tournament in Taipei City, Chinese Taipei. Please put your hands together and welcome your comeback Matildas back to the pitch for this winner.
Welcome back to the second half between the Matildas and Slovenia at HBF Park in Perth. The Matildas with a narrow 1-0 lead over the visiting team, thanks to an Emily Gilnick finish in just the 3rd minute, but all to do and plenty to improve on from the first 45 minutes. Perhaps the Matildas at times, Andy Harper, overthinking some of that play in the first half.
Yeah, I think that was clearly in evidence. Play's just going to stop here. Kerbal has just come a cropper as Australia were looking to play forward. Yeah, I think the first half for the Matildas, some very exciting moments. Of course, taking the lead and scoring the only goal of the game is a cherished thing as well. But I just got the feeling watching that there's so much build-up, Grace, to Joe Montemuro coming, such a long period. He's just bumped off the ball. And now you dovetail all that into just the huge story that the Matildas are nowadays and the expectation with the team. I think everyone wanting to be part of this Montemuro era, and I just got the feeling that the players were working really hard and using a lot of their brain space trying to think, what does the coach want me to do now, rather than actually playing what they were seeing and what was on. But that'll settle.
Well, no changes just yet at the break, but plenty of experience on the bench for the Matildas and for Slovenia as well. Some veterans waiting in the wings, and it's not a bad looking ball through, just escaped Prashnikar. Little thumbs up, appreciated that one. But there was plenty about this Slovenian side in the first half. They weren't happy to sit back and set up a defensive block on the front foot, pressuring the Matildas' defensive line, turning over possession at times. There's Hunt, scuffs of the Slovenian defenders. And so the high pressure, the press from Slovenia continues.
Well, they showed great energy in the first half. And again, Grace, I agree with you. I think they've been great value. And by their own account, the Matildas players weren't really sure what to expect. Australia's never played Slovenia before. They haven't qualified for World Cups. And indeed, they haven't qualified for the upcoming Euros to start next week. Clearly, because they wouldn't be here if they did. So they've still got a long way to go up the ladder, but they're making great strides as a football country on the evidence we've seen in that first half. A small population, 2 million Slovenians. spread across a number of sports at which they're internationally very, very competitive.
Well, the strike comes through and it does send Tegan Micah to ground for the save. And on that occasion, Sarah Markovets with, I have to say, too much time and space to get a good look at that.
Yeah, clean contact, but not overly strong contact, and it was pretty routine for Tegan Micah. Think back to that first half. Tegan was beaten at full stretch by a cross that turned into a shot, came off the crossbar.
And Slovenia have had their chances, you mentioned it, not quite having the quality, whether it's in the strike or the final pass. But should they continue to find some more of those chances, those openings, the Matildas won't want to afford too many chances against them. Nice turn shown by Heatley. Releases the run of McNamara. The angle of the pass played into the hands of Golob, and that's cleared by Mershnik. Gilnick retreating. Kennedy wastes no time, up and under. Another down by Chonch. And so the transition continues. I dare say we will see some changes from the Matildas. Some experience. Not happy there, Joe Montemuro. Slovenia with a half chance. The offside flag has gone up. A bit of a hush around the crowd at HBF Park, which, fair to say, is a lower attendance looking crowd than recent Matildas fixtures. Matildas still defending. Running through and brought to ground. Markovets again. The chance for Slovenia, and again it presents, but the final bit of quality is not there.
Well, it was at least an effort on goal that had a bit more sting on it, even though it was off target. But again, Australia is getting caught in possession in midfield.
Lara Prashnikar, in her 87th appearance for her country, sitting on 48 goals. Certainly capable. That ball down the line. Chidiak been put to her pace. Korosec is first to it. Here's Colball, who's recovered from that earlier knock. Well, indecision, communication at the back was simply not dealt with, and that should be in the back of the net. Zara Kramjar with a poor giveaway at the back, and she knows she should have done better. It should be one apiece. Still alive, Prashnikar. The release pass is nice. 1-2, a few too many touches on the ball. Slovenia dallying. Prashnikar gets her chance, gets a shot away. Well, warning signs for the Matildas.
The second half just hasn't started yet for Australia. Very sloppy in possession. Claire Hunt, that last occasion, overthinking things. It was a chance, quite unbelievably, that didn't get finished. But Kramjar, one of their top players, just hit it straight at the keeper. The whole goal to hit. I mean, it's really poor. Then Prashnikar hitting over in the repechage effort. Australia rattled.
It was all a little pedestrian at the back for the Matildas, and Tegan Micah makes that known. Her save, an important one. Yes, straight at her. Positioning must be good, and it was on that occasion. Markovets is upended by Sayer. Now Gilnick can drive into space. Releases Carpenter, who doesn't quite have the legs to get there. It's a good challenge from Argres, but Carpenter does keep it alive for Australia. Now Sayer. The pass steered away. And Slovenia still have a player to ground after that last challenge.
That's not looking good for Markovets, because it was just as she'd landed and then taken another stride away. It's at the dreaded knee. She's in a great deal of discomfort.
The 25-year-old plays the football in Austria and looks to be in a great deal of distress.
Well, there's no contact from Van Egmond. She skips away from Emily, lands and pops.
Yeah, it's hard to watch those ones back, especially on the slow-mo. You see that left knee just collapse inwards. Really, really tough. Sara Markovets seems to know it's not necessarily a good situation here, that left knee. May force the first change rather of the evening for Slovenia, not in the circumstances that you'd like it. And a couple of Slovenian faithful fans in the crowd, which is lovely to see as well. This less so. And we hope it's not what we suspect for Sara Markovets. So play underway. Holly McNamara is dragged to ground a little agriculturally. And Kaya Karasets, who's been busy this evening for Slovenia. Well, this is intriguing. Sara Markovets returning to the field of play. Well, hopefully that's a good sign. Matilda's with possession. Here's Heatley. Carpenter drives inside. Van Egmond looking for the pass. Finds it in Gilnick. Square to Carpenter. Rankin. Has Sayer. Rankin again. Sayer's intended target in Chidiac isn't met. Counter-attack loading for Slovenia here. Spela Kolbel can drive into space. Prashnica. Still Prashnica. Edge of the 18-yard box for Prashnica, and everything but the finish. Well, she's building into this second half. Lara Prashnica.
Well, again, the shot straight at Tegan Micah might have been a little to either side and asked the Aussie custodian to do more work, but it was a beautiful roll of the ball from Prashnica. Didn't she make that space beautifully? This can't be good. It's the same player, Sara Markovets, who's had treatment on that knee. Thought it was okay, and she's come a cropper again. You'd have to think that's her for the evening, and let's hope that there's nothing. Signs aren't good. Despite the fact, those watching, that a player can be walking freely, it doesn't mean that. Can we even mention the word?
Well, the slow motion replay of that first little knee inversion wasn't exactly flattering. So we'll see a forced change for Slovenia. I do wish Sara Markovets all the very best. And so play has rolled on. A quick release pass. Amy Sayer has an opportunity, and her shot straight into the body of Zala Merschneck. It opened up nicely, and you could see exactly what Sayer was trying to do with the strike. Couldn't quite round the shape of her body. Australian throw. Here's McNamara. Sayer. Rankin just underneath her. Inside to Heatley. Drags a touch, but is interrupted by Maja Sternet. Counter-attacking play from Slovenia. Kolbel. And Heatley has retreated really well to regain possession for the Matildas. Here's Sayer again. Gilnick is at the far post if she can pick her out. Doesn't quite have the leverage on the pass, and Sarah Agres, who has been rather faultless across the evening. Farashets. There's a whole host of players being readied at the sideline for Slovenia. Currently playing a player down. Waiting for a little break in play. Hunt. That's a better back pass to find Micah. Van Egmond should be able to face forward. Gets there eventually. Now Heatley. Kennedy picks out McNamara. Gilnick, and inside comes the run of Carpenter. The energy of Carpenter blocked well. Defensive duties once yet again by Slovenia.
That's a great run from Ellie Carpenter. Actually, one of the things that Australia haven't been able to really get going, as a function of some of the other issues, is place changing, rotations, players in motion, third person runs, and on that occasion the field was broken open because of one such movement from Ellie Carpenter, who might actually, once she got to the ball, have centred it first time, because Amy Sayer had a yard or two on her immediate marker and could have been first to a ball that was delivered across the penalty area had Carpenter seen it or sensed it.
Well, 4 changes in total here for Slovenia. Sasha Coleman the first to turn to his bench. We'll get to that in just a moment, but for now those players have some defending to do. Matilda's corner. Van Egmond's delivery. Flat, hard and glanced away. Gilnick. Back to Heatley. The pass is a little deep, and Carpenter. First time touch is really clever, but the offside flag has gone up. Claire Hunt on the spot.
Yeah, it was a really clever move, you're right. Emily Gilnick had drifted offside and her volley didn't match Claire Hunt's. She had the heart of the two, it should be said, but it's been a good game for Claire Hunt, bar that one glaring error. It's, in a non-VAR world, could easily have been play on. Emily Gilnick had probably, in all probability, straight offside.
Kennedy alert to the danger, but a touch lets her down. It's a substitute. Forces a save from Tegan Micah, who parries it away, and Ellie Carpenter is on the spot. Well, it's warning signs for the Matildas. And it was Nina Kajba, the fresh legs streaming on.
Well, Alana Kennedy's been very sure tonight, but she got the yips at this moment. And Kajba, just off the bench, really could have taken it, should have taken it another couple of metres. And Australia escape again.
And exactly that, an escape of what could have easily been an equalising goal for Slovenia. The 4 substitutions that were made. Nina Kajba, one of those. Also on came Isabella Krijai, defender. Sara Ketish and Corina Janes. A couple of changes being readied for the Matildas on the sideline as well. Chidiak's legs are upended. Here's the first changes of the night for the Matildas. It'll be Michelle Heyman and Natasha Pryor making way. Alex Chidiac and Winnie Heatley as well. So Tash Pryor for her 8th appearance in green and gold, and Michelle Heyman, this is appearance number 80 for the Matildas. Tried, tested is Michelle Heyman, but she is a well and truly recognised goal scorer. So she'll take up her spot in the centre of attack.
Alana Kennedy gets the run in midfield. Amy Sayer moves in to play the attacking midfield position, vacated now by Alex Chidiac.
Well, an interesting shuffle that. We'll keep an eye on the next couple of minutes exactly how that settles in. Tash Pryor on the ball here, important first touches, slots right into that centre half position. McNamara, he's that speed. Brought into space, it's a brilliant save, a strong arm, and McNamara, and what she thought. Second shot coming through from Amy Sayer. And Holly McNamara, and what surely she thought was going to be her first of we hope to be many goals in the green and gold, is denied by a brilliant save.
Yeah, well, it's a great chase as well by the substitute, Krichar. Keeper Mersnick held her nerve as well. And Holly McNamara kept her nerve. It was a good contest all round. Just looking to lift. It's that left arm. Frustration for Holly McNamara. She did well then to set the chance up.
Well, the other substitution in Janez makes an immediate impact. And Slovenia, in their moments, they just can't quite keep their cool when the heat is on. Another chance goes begging.
Well, they lost their last match before this, 1-0 against Ireland. And as you correctly refer, Grace, of course, that's the only loss this year. And the games they've won, goal scoring hasn't been a problem, but they've been awful in front of goal tonight. Can't believe it. Australia are very fortunate in that sense to still hold the lead.
And Sasha Coleman, head coach on the sideline, knows it as well. There's been a couple of really clear-cut chances for Slovenia, which, put simply, they just should have done better with. Here's Sayer. Heyman with some early touches. Kennedy in her advanced position in the midfield, her pass just slips under the foot of Heyman. Interesting too to see Kennedy pushed into the midfield. We know she has played there over the course of her career in that holding midfield role. The likes of Kyra Cooney-Cross on the bench. Alana Murphy, I'd say a more natural holding midfielder. So Slovenia come again. Here's Agres. Finds Ketish. Matilda's just happy to sit back in and invite the pass from Slovenia. Golob and Chonch have been largely unflustered at the back. Nice touches from the substitution, Nina Kaisba, interrupted by Carpenter. Kaisba wins back possession. course, the second of these 2 games against Slovenia. Again this Sunday at HBF Park. Search Matildas for tickets to get those ones. We recall the last window against Argentina. The first game, although the Matildas securing their result by 2-0, their second game against Argentina was vastly improved. Currently holding on to a fairly narrow 1-0 lead. That was found in the 3rd minute by Emily Gilnick as Van Egmond has had her heel clips brought to ground. Kennedy again in almost 2 minds, does pick the pass to Micah. Drops them now. Krajai inside. Prashnikar, her pass released and Pryor alert to the danger. The referee points for a goal kick. Neve Owens, what's the sense down on the sideline?
There's a real lull from the crowd at the moment, Gigi. There's a bit of a pause, maybe even some hesitation, which they're seeing out in the middle at times as well tonight. Sammy Kerr is here in the stands alongside Chloe Lagazzo and a couple of the other players who will see feature throughout this 4-game series, the first 2 against Slovenia and the next 2 against Panama. You can imagine the crowd has been very interested in exactly where Sam Kerr is at all times throughout the night as well. Unfortunately, a Slovenian player down injured at the moment. I am loving, Gigi, that combination. We haven't seen it in Aussie colours for some time between Ellie Carpenter and Emily Gilnick on the right edge. They're great friends. Em Gilnick was just over in France at Ellie Carpenter's wedding, and you can see that positivity, that confidence that they bring, that they're trying to instill in the rest of the side as well. While Em Gilnick was over there in France, it was interesting to see she was still running those stairs. She was still staying fit and ready for the call-up that came shortly after her return.
Thank you, Neve, and good to see Nina Kaisba back to her feet as Slovenia turn to the bench again. And Dominika Chonch, who was wearing the captain's armband, has been replaced by Tinkara Testen in what is a debut for the young player. Portugal-based, and the first international appearance for Testen. So a very big congratulations to her. Giveaway paw in the middle. Here's Prashnikar. She's had a couple of chances. Here's one that just slides away from the far post.
Well, again, and this is as close as they've come. She's got a lot of quality, Laura Prashnikar. And this time looking to pick her spot. And it had Tegan Micah very interested to her right. But no ball security again from Australia. A chance opened up for Slovenia.
Well, it's a direct pass from Claire Hunt, and it has Holly McNamara's name on it. She cuts inside. McNamara. Sayer retreats to Rankin. Sayer, cute little touch around the edge, was the right idea, but couldn't get the return pass. It's a good touch from Prashnikar. We've really seen her quality, with the exception of her finishing. Laura Prashnikar has been one of the best on field for Slovenia. Plays her football at Eintracht Frankfurt in Germany. It's a poor giveaway. Heyman can find the back of the net. Gilnick looking for a second. Emily Gilnick, it's blocked well. Lana Golob again. Now Carpenter, still alive with Gilnick. Her ball lofted into the back post. Important intervention once more by Zala Mershnik, proving exactly why she had the golden glove in the Saudi Arabian League.
Yeah, moment. I mean, Em Gilnick scored the goal of the game. She had another great chance saved in the second half, and this was really blocked. One of the stars of the night, a goal from Slovenia. And then at full stretch, Muznik seeing the danger away.
Well, it seems certain the second goal was on the way for Emily Gilnick. It was a really positive touch to her right as the Matildas ready. Another few changes on the sideline. Jamila Rankin, the first to make way. Like for like change in Courtney Nevin into that left back position. And well received to the crowd is the return of Hayley Russo and Remy Simpson as well. Two attacking players making way, Emily Van Egmond and Emily Gilnick. This is appearance 96 for Hayley Russo, edging closer to that century. And Remy Simpson, just her 10th in green and gold. And she's one of those players with a wonderful opportunity here under the watchful eye of Joe Montemuro back in the national team setup.
Defenders are two. Ivy, you're on the second 50.
Eavesdropping. It was easy, the instruction from Joe Montemuro asking Amy Sayer to defend as a second holding midfield alongside Alana Kennedy.
Well, that gives Remy Simpson the opportunity to push a little bit further forward as she took the field. She was taking up a position initially which looked completely foreign to me.
Well, straight down the middle is a ball from Heyman. McNamara has the pace, looks for the pass, might have taken it herself.
It was a great breakthrough. In full stride, she's quite the sight athletically, is Holly McNamara. Might have just been able to drag that ball further onto her left foot and gone herself. I think a lot of people watching would have been hoping for that, just so that Holly can break the international duck. But she sized up the opportunity and she thought Hayley Russo, who was looming on the right, was a better option.
For moments, I'm sure Matilda's fans are begging for Holly McNamara to be a little more selfish in that final third. But how the crowd lifts when she breaks into space. It was a really good ball through from Michelle Heyman. And she's proved time and time again in the A-League for Melbourne City that Holly McNamara can indeed find the back of the net. And sometimes the pressure of international football comes with another element of weight as Slovenia turn to the bench for another change. Zala Kushtin is waiting in the wings. Lara Prashnika, who has been impressive this evening. That final touch, that final finishing quality, lacking a little. But some encouraging words from coach Sasha Coleman. Ball through the back is handled comfortably enough by Carpenter and Hunt. There's another centre-half pairing in Claire Hunt and Tash Pryor. He's experimented with, that's a poor giveaway, the pass inside, nice little turn, shift of weight coming through from Christian, the substitute. And they've looked dangerous, Slovenia, if not handed possession at times a little too neatly.
Well, it's been a repeated theme through the night. They've been able to pick the pocket of the Matildas and launch a counter-attack a pass or two later. The shooting is... The last couple of efforts have had a lot more conviction about them, and the substitute Christian did a nice job there, close control to make the space and then shooting towards goal. Didn't trouble Tegan Micah, but another opportunity from a similar part of the field might be a different story.
And again, not without their chances. Here's Sayer, pokes it forward to Rasso. Has options. Turns out back to Sayer, retreats to Kennedy. And back with Hunt. Carpenter inside to Sayer. Tegan Micah has been heavily involved in this game. A lot of touches on the ball. Here she is again. Kennedy. Hunt. Nevin under pressure. Prodded away. And Pryor is quick to react, faster to react, can intercept, but still just not held onto, not composed by the Matildas midfield. Hunt will have just a moment to gather her thoughts, pick a pass, and that one sailed over the sideline, but does relieve the pressure from what was a frantic little passage. So 10 minutes remain, and it feels as though it's still very much a game hanging in the balance. Slovenia creating some really good chances, but also been gifted some really good chances by the Matildas. Carpenter, pressure coming through from Kaisba, forces the long clearance up and under Micah. Sayer, who looked really sound in especially the first half, the opening passages of the first half. We haven't quite seen it come together in this game just yet. Micah clips the ball forward, trying to find Heyman. Here's Seamson. Sayer shouts forward, and one of those is coming from Ellie Carpenter. Has space in front, has good numbers forward as well. Carpenter looking to extend the lead. Here's Hayley Rasso, can get the shot away, ricochets off the boot of Sara Agres. But that was better, that was cleaner from the Matildas.
When they've broken into space and they've looked to accept that space, Australia have looked dangerous through the night. And again, it's Ellie Carpenter breaking the lines. She breaks those lungs with those runs. She can just go forever. Very difficult to handle. And that ball finishes up with Hayley Rasso, and Agres handles that effort.
So a corner for the Matildas. Courtney Nevin stepping in for corner taking duties on that delightful left foot. The in-swinger busy around the 6-yard box. Nevin's delivery drops into a vacant area. Chasing down is McNamara. Pryor. Now Carpenter. Still good numbers forward. Carpenter's re-entry into the box. Glancing header from Sayer was the right idea. Heyman still hunting. And hoofed away by the Slovenian defence. McNamara. Intelligent touch in front of the defender. Shot ricochets off the hand. Seamson. McNamara, a little glance over the shoulder. Lots of traffic, lots of white shirts closing down the space, as they've done so very well all evening, Slovenia. And now they can break. The substitute, Nina Kaisba, tearing into space. A few too many Matilda shirts, and it's Courtney Nevin who brings that down comfortably. Rasso, her return to the Matildas setup, having missed the last couple of international windows. Not playing a great deal of football in the latter end of the season with Tottenham. frustrating for Rasso. Seamson bundled through the back. Free kick will go away, of course. Remy Seamson, teammate of Amy Say at Kristianstad in Sweden. Rasso, nice little shift of weight inside. Has Sayer outside. If she can find the pass, but it's blocked well. For Karashets, who's been here, there and everywhere. Now a break once more for Slovenia. If they can pick the pass, and Nevin, a fresh substitute, manages to slow things down. Here's Kennedy. Nevin, ball forward, is looking for Seamson, but Lana Golob has put on an experienced performance tonight. That pass a little messy. Golob is there first. Sayer had time, has Rasso. Rasso looks forward, the shot, the finish, and it is there. It is there in the back of the net for the first of surely many for Holly McNamara. And perhaps a celebration of relief. But a very big congratulations to Holly McNamara on what is her first goal in green and gold. And surely the first of many to come. She extends the lead for the Matildas. They've got the second goal, they've got the buffer, and surely that's the result in the bag.
Well, it's Slovenia this time who turned the ball over. Good pressure from Remy Seamson, and then nice composure from Amy Sayer. She might have, I think, was tempted to shoot early when the keeper was offline, but she settled the play, helped the ball out to Hayley Rasso, whose delivery was pinpoint. And then Holly McNamara, what a great moment for the youngster. She's toiled away, 3 knee reconstructions, back to the national team, had chances to score, hasn't been able to until now. A great moment for her.
Well, maybe now. The dam wall has been broken for Holly McNamara. A lovely pinpoint cross from Hayley Rasso, important to that play. But the pressure on the shoulders of Holly McNamara, the expectation coming in off her goal-scoring heroics in the A-League, and maybe more to add. Rasso, the shot, the finish, oh well, it's delightful. That is a superb finish from Hayley Rasso, almost making it look too easy. Cruising on into goal, and more or less past it into the back of the net. That is just lovely.
Well, it's great positivity off the bench from Hayley Rasso, and maybe a minute after she puts the goal on for Holly McNamara, Charlie Grant off the bench bounces the ball with her head. The field opens up for Hayley Rasso. Quizzical from the goalkeeper, Zala Mizhnik, on this occasion, but maybe she was completely bamboozled by the brilliance of Rasso. Who's to know? But unattended, unchallenged, she slots the ball in for Australia's third.
Australia's third goal. Hayley Rasso's 22nd in green and gold. An assist, a goal, and an important impact she has made, but still the Matildas with some defending to do. It's dropped to the top of the box, and that's a decent strike and an even better save. Tegan Micah called into action yet again, makes no mistake.
Yeah, very comfortable, Tegan Micah, for the chances that Slovenia have. They should have put the Aussie keeper under greater duress, but what she's had to do, she's done very timely.
Well, it was a late challenge into the body of McNamara from the debutant in Tinkara Testen. McNamara grimaces and returns to her feet. The last couple of minutes of play, and Sasha Coleman looks on pensively in a scoreline that isn't entirely representative of the game we've seen. So inside the last minute of regulation time. And as it stands, a clean sheet, despite the efforts of Slovenia, despite the chances awarded to them. They'll feel frustrated by their lack of quality in the final third, Slovenia. As Michelle Heyman nips at the heels of the Slovenian defence. Takes a trick. Pushtin driving forward, and it's a last-ditch challenge, beautifully timed on that occasion by Tash Pryor. Had to be as well. She's got that right.
Great expertise from Tash Pryor, needed it as well to dig Australia out. Now, speaking of players off the bench, really some excellent contributions from Trijay. Very tidy, carrying the ball with the feet, just a little bit of speed to finally kick away then. Another chance for Slovenia though, until Tash Pryor just extended that telescopic reach. Great sliding tackle.
Perfectly timed. Kushtin bore down on goal, and the clean sheet was at threat for Tegan Micah. Well, she's had a busy night tonight, Tegan Micah. So 5 minutes of stoppage time. Here's Simpson. Can release McNamara, who has space, closing down. Centering ball is good. Drops almost to Hayley Russo, but Zala Mershnik, who has been really sound all night, comes off her line well.
A lovely weight on that pass from Remy Simpson, and Holly McNamara touches wide of the defender. It was a good option, good play. Michelle Heyman just has that striker's DNA to hit the space just as required, but it was well defended by Slovenia, and then Mershnik pounces on the ball to deny the chance for Hayley Russo to add another goal to her game CV.
Well, she certainly provided an impact, Hayley Russo. The goal, the assist. Good positive touches on the ball. Looking forward. Now here's Simpson. Sayer, the option is blocked well. The chance opens once more. Kaisba looks forward. Long ball over the top. Perhaps a little wasteful. Here's Charlie Grant, who was substituted on for Ellie Carpenter. Now Kennedy. Kennedy faces forward, stretches the field. As that one will trickle over the sideline. Sharon Flyer alongside hometown favourite Sam Kerr. There's a smile out of her. And great to see her back with the Matildas, training back on the field. course, no one wants to be playing, I'm sure, more than Sam herself. But still, Slovenia have not given up the chase. Kaisbar cuts inside. Good positive touch by Kaisbar, and that's not far off. The retreating Nevin could only put so much pressure on. And Nina Kaisbar has made quite an impact since coming on. Well, for Slovenia, it's not been the lack of chances, but more so the lack of quality in the shooting. I'm sure they'll look back and reflect on this game of moments of what could have been. Here's Simpson. The pass intercepted well. Again, the Slovenian defence has stood up. Hunt back to Micah. And so inside the final minute of stoppage time, and then all to the discretion of the referee. Joe Montemuro, a bit to think about in his first game in charge. But safe to say at this point that he will indeed become just the 4th manager in the last 30 years of Matilda's coaches to win their first A international. And hopefully what is a sign of positive things to come. Plenty of room for improvement from the evening. But with so few days and minutes together, the team has plenty of time to improve. Well, it's 1 from 1 for Joe Montemuro. It's a first goal in green and gold for Holly McNamara as the Matildas march on and do find a result against Slovenia in game 1. It was Emily Gilnick all the way back in the 3rd minute, returning to the national team setup that did find the back of the net. And then it was a long wait between goal 1 and goal 2 as Holly McNamara, in her 10th game for the country, nodded a finish home off the end of a delightful Hayley Rasso cross. And to round things out, it was Hayley Rasso who made it 3. So it finishes at HBF Park. Australia 3, Slovenia 0.
give